Right, this is a recording to discuss problems number 30 and 31 on the final exam review. This is regarding given marginal cost for producing an item, and you are asked to find the cost function. Given the cost of producing for number 30, 8 items, which is $350. And then for 31, it says the fixed costs are $200. And so I want you to keep in mind fixed cost would mean that that is when you haven't even sold anything. So I'd be saying like your X or your number of units would be 0. And so C of 0 then is 200. Whereas you can see that there's a difference here with number 30. It's saying that 8 items, so C of 8 is equal to 350. So if you want to pause it and take a look at these particular problems, go ahead and read through them. I'm going to jump over to the solutions. So looking at number 30, since we are given this marginal cost function, c prime of x, which is x to the 2/3 plus 4x plus 3, if we're going to find the cost function as it asks, what I need to do is actually take the antiderivative. And so you will notice that I have indicated I am taking the antiderivative of both sides of my marginal cost function. So on the right hand side, that is going to be what I actually work with here. I add 1 to each exponent and then I divide by that. And so on the left hand side, the antiderivative of marginal cost is the cost function. On the right hand side, I've shown a little bit of work having added 3/3, which is going to give me my new exponent of 5/3. Well, that's the same thing as 3/5 here in the coefficient times x to the 5/3 plus 2x squared plus 3x, and then since this is an indefinite integral, we have to add our constant. And we typically use the constant representation c, but because we were talking about a cost function, I went ahead and called it k. So I'm going to avoid confusion with talking about the cost function, so I'll call that constant k. So to find the value of our constant, which again I'm replacing with k, we know, given from that problem, that x items, c of x, is given here, but if we substitute in 8 items, as it says, produce 8 items, the cost is going to be 350. So in shorthand, with our function notation, we say c of 8 is equal to 350. And so what I've done is I've replaced everywhere there is an x in my cost function with the value 8, and I'm looking for k, or that constant. So if you work through this, now replacing that c of 8 is actually known to be the value 350, so I've replaced c of 8 with 350. I've substituted in 8 everywhere there's an x. I've gone ahead and used my calculator to figure out and asked it to give it in a fraction form, so that right hand side turns out to be 856 over 5. I've got my variable k here, that constant. If I solve for k, I'm actually going to end up with 178.80, which would be the cost of producing or would be my k value after substituting in for my cost to produce 8 items is 350. And so as it asked, we gave the cost function, and I've got, instead of my k or c, I replaced it with that 178.8. Okay, and then likewise, number 31, so I'll just kind of quickly flip back. Number 31, it gave us a marginal cost function, said the fixed cost, which means that when 0 items are produced, is $200. And so we do the same thing, we just have to use different integration rules. I've taken the antiderivative of both sides. Remember, when you have an exponential, you're going in this form right here, like the e to the 0.2x, you're going to divide by that 0.2. And so I've taken the antiderivative, did a little bit of simplifying down here. That 0.5 over 0.2 actually is the same thing as 2.5. And I've got my constant k included here. And so all that has to occur is that now you remember that for x you're going to substitute in the value 0. Your c of 0 is equal to 200, so that means your equation is equal to 200, and everywhere there's an x I substitute in 0, and I solve for k, and then at the very end I'm asked to give the cost function. And so what I do is I rewrite it. C of x, as I found, was going to be 2.5 e to the 0.2x plus 6x, and then plus my constant, which was found to be 197.50.